Everyone is quiet at breakfast. Word about the whereabouts and actions of the Canterlot ponies has spread quickly throughout the castle. Concern is so thick in the air you can almost feel it. Not a sound can be heard except the sounds of everyone eating their meals. Celestia slowly and dramatically stands up from her chair.
As you all may know, this castle potentially faces a serious threat.
Your heart stops when you hear her say, serious threat.
I just got back in touch with the messenger I had sent out. The news definitely could have been better.
Everyone is silent.
It comes to my attention that a sizable faction of the citizens of Canterlot have reached the point where they no longer respect Luna and I.
Dead silence.
To the best of my knowledge, based on what I've learned from the messenger, the citizens of Canterlot are attempting to build their own sun.
Wait, what? Everyone in the room is confused. Celestia allows them a moment to let it all sink in. If the situation were not as dire as it was, you would have laughed a little bit.
It's true, I'm afraid, Celestia gravely continues. They believe they can actually build a sun of their own, and that all the unicorns in Canterlot can collectively use their magic to maintain its rising and setting.
"'Tis utter madness," Luna interjects.
Not only that, Celestia points out, but they are building multiple trebuchets to first bombard the current sun out of the sky, and then launch their homemade sun into the sky and have the unicorns catch it with their magic, thus keeping it up there.
It's absolute insanity.
Luna, since you're the one who is most familiar with medieval trebuchets, I kindly ask for your assistance,
Celestia adds. Luna jolts up in her seat.
There is need for us?
Luna hopefully asks. Celestia nods slowly. Here we go. You look out the window to see Twilight's hot air balloon approaching the castle. The main six are aboard. Celestia had contacted them by letter and urged them to travel by air. It's too dangerous to travel on the ground. Meanwhile, you're called to the meeting hall, where Celestia will disclose the plan for defense to the royal guards. You enter the room to find all the guards, Celestia, Luna, Cadence, and Shining Armor. Pretty much everyone else, too, and all the royalty in there. Where the hell has Cadence even been this whole time?
We are going to need at least 4 guards in each of the towers. At the doors, we are going to install and reinforce heavy locks with metal barriers, in case they try to ram the doors.
Celestia lays out her instructions to defend the castle. You gulp loudly. There's no way this is going to end well. Meanwhile, Luna is giving her instructions for a plan of counterattack. She has quickly sketched diagrams of an average trebuchet with a few labels.
Here thou can observe a fragile area within the fulcrum post. If the lumber bears thin and slender enough, there should be little to no difficulty in forcing the beam to give way, causing it to ruptureth and fracture into multiple pieces, she booms to the guards while pointing to the spot on the diagram. Cadence is in charge of providing aid to anyone who gets wounded. Within minutes, Twilight and the rest of the main 6 enter the meeting hall. We arrived as fast as we could, Twilight affirms. How can we assist? We need you to help defend Luna and the guards as they try to dismantle the trebuchets, Celestia answers. Twilight's eyes widened as Celestia mentions trebuchets, realizing the severity of the situation. Just distract the ones on the outside from defending their siege weapons while Luna takes them out, Celestia adds. Right on it, Princess, Twilight adds. And if it helps, I've rallied up some of the population of Ponyville to ride over and distract them as well. We'll have all the support we need. Thank you, Twilight. You truly are a big help.
Just then, Luna trots over to you.
Anonymous, if something are to happen to us out there, we would like to thank thee for everything thou hast done for us recently, she asserts. It is much appreciated.
You're welcome, Luna. It's all you're able to say, before you two hug once, and then she flies off with the main 6 and a few of the guards. The meeting room is now almost silent. Celestia walks up to you.
I cannot find a way to thank you enough for all that you've helped us princesses with, Anonymous. If you ever start to get the sensation that this might somehow be your fault, do not allow yourself to think that way.
You nod and squint your eyes.
This kind of conflict is bound to happen sooner or later, and you just simply happen to get caught in the middle.
Celestia walks over to the window. She looks out, almost crying. But she knows how to hold the feeling back.
I do not believe that Luna would have anybody to turn to if it weren't you. Not even me, Celestia reveals.
But you're her sister.
I know, but what Luna needed most during this time was someone to motivate her to do great things. Someone like her. And for that, I'm more than glad that you came along.
You can't think of anything else to say.
Because of you, she is brave enough to go out there and confront the entire crowd of citizens who are now making an offensive towards the castle, Celestia reaffirms.
Thank you. It means everything to me, you say after a long pause.
And thank you too, Anonymous,
she answers before joining the guards to march up to one of the tallest towers in the castle. The intensity is too much for you. You feel dizzy and the room begins to spin. You faint like a little bitch. The next thing you see is an oval-shaped light hovering above you. You squint your eyes so the glare doesn't sting as much. You can now see the outline of a pink pone leaning over you. It's Cadence.
Oh good, you've come too. For a second there I thought we might have had our first casualty already.
You take another minute or two to realize that you're on a bed. You realize that you fainted. You're so embarrassed. You won't tell any pony about what just happened, right? You blubber out the words like a moron. Cadence smiles slightly, as though she's internally laughing at you, but somehow still means well.
No pony will ever know.
How long's it been? You still can't talk, right?
Only a few minutes. I think it's safest that we just stay in here, being that you, fainted out there, Cadence trails off into murmuring.
You look down in shame.
No offense, I just want everyone to be safe.
Cadence then leaves the room. You wonder if Luna is dealing alright in dealing with the trebuchets. It surprises you that the fact that Luna is 1,000 years behind actually serves an advantage in this situation. You wonder if it's a good thing to have certain customs that are not consistent with those around you. You feel like a pussy for feigning.
Damn it, I gotta be in the action,
you whisper to yourself in self-encouragement. You leap up and head for the door. The force of the wind from your wake feeling as though it's pushing you back. You resist. You have to go out there, for Luna. The two of you have helped each other in so many ways up until this point. Why the hell should you stop now? Before you know it, you're rushing towards the front doors. They are about to be closed after the second wave of defenders has been dispatched. You slip through, entering outside. The first thing you see outside the castle is a towering column of smoke. It looms over the tallest mountains and into the stratosphere. At the base of it are flames, but you can't see what's burning. A ways to the left of the smoke are 3 or 4 trebuchets with a couple of royal guards swarming around them. There is a crowd of ponies surrounding the trebuchets, trying to defend them. You can't see Luna or the main 6 anywhere. You decide to just run towards where all the action is happening in hopes to finding them. You have hands, so you would be able to do a good deal of damage in terms of deconstructing the equipment or something. But you realize you just made a huge mistake. About 20 of the angry Canterlot citizens have spotted you in the open field. Having hands isn't exactly useful if it's 20 against 1. You see a thicket of large trees on the far end of the field. Seeing this as your only escape, you head towards the thicket. Oh shit, the ponies are faster runners than you. You can hear the galloping as they gain ground on you. You immediately regret the decision you just made to run outside. You would just put yourself in danger. You finally made it into the trees. You weave. You make all kinds of complicated turns and maneuvers. You do everything you can to lose them. It's somewhat effective. You reach a clearing overlooking a valley. In that valley you can see the town of Ponyville. Not only that, but something else catches your eye. There are large herds of ponies headed from Ponyville to the general direction of Canterlot. It looks like enough to be at least 3/4 of the entire population. You can do nothing more than watch in awe as the huge populace of Ponyville charges towards Canterlot. Twilight wasn't kidding when she said she had rallied them up. You hear rustling behind you. It's not your jimmies. Without thinking, you sprint to your right, along the line of trees bordering your former sanctuary. You are growing tired and out of breath. Why the fuck is everything happening so fast? You revert to just running back into the trees to take cover. You have no idea what you're even doing anymore, just anything you can to survive. You haven't even been outside the safety of the castle for 5 minutes and you're already running in circles, alone and confused. You can only imagine the amount of courage it must take to run out into danger, let alone put out a rebellion with fucking siege weapons. Luna must have put a lot of heart into her plan for a counterattack. She wanted to defend you, to protect you. Despite her being socially left behind, she's clearly a lot more physically able than you. You're just a simple human. Why did you even think that you could survive under these conditions? She knew that it had been better to let her deal with the violent side of hatred, not you. And now, you've let her down. You're going to die out here in the woods because you weren't smart enough to listen to logic and reason. You are suddenly lifted off your feet and swept away into the air. A blue aura wraps itself around you. It belongs to Luna. You land on Luna's back as she flies over the woods. She must have spotted you from high above before you were being chased.
Anonymous, why hast thou fled the sanctuary of the castle? She shouts.
I just wanted to help you, please. Let me be here so I can make sure you're okay, you beg. A pause.
Fine, we understand, Luna answers. We feel the same way, Anonymous.
You can barely hear her say under her breath. You ride her like a knight on horseback towards the 2 remaining trebuchets. Absolute chaos has ensued around the bases of the trebuchets. The angry rebels have already lost 3 of their 5 trebuchets. They never even got a chance to use any of them. There is bucking everywhere. All of the ponies are so desperate now. They are undertrained and stemmed up with evil and hatred. They have no clue what they believe or what they are trying to accomplish. You ride in with Luna towards the crowd. In a surge of pure excitement, Luna lets out an epic war cry. The massive sound wave knocks the rebels off their hooves and onto the ground. She uses her magic to levitate the pitchforks and torches away from them. You can't help but let out a war cry of your own, for the heat of the moment is just so fucking glorious. Luna lands at the bottom of a small hill, right behind where the crowd around the trebuchets are.
Prepare thyself, beloved Anonymous,
Luna warns as she gets her vocal cords ready. At that instant, a couple of stallions at the top of the hill have positioned a large boulder to roll down towards Luna.
Luna, up there,
you shout, pointing towards the hill. Luna turns to see the boulder rolling towards her. She immediately knows what to do. She faces away from the boulder, waits until it's within reach of her, and bucks it as hard as she can with her hind legs. The impact shatters the boulder, shaking the ground itself. The intense vibrations cause you to fall off of Luna's back. Her magic catches you right before you hit the ground.
I've got you, Anon,
Luna shouts using a modern dialect because her magic is making contact with you. The hundreds of pieces of boulder lay on the ground. The ponies stare wide-eyed in terror as they witness the power they're up against. Luna faces the crowd once more. She inhales and then she lets out the loudest sound you've ever heard anything make. All the rebel ponies promptly yield in shell shock. 2 royal guards fly in. They quickly dismantle the last 2 trebuchets before they can be used. Seeing the last of their siege weapons destroyed, the Croyd boils into an uproar of rage. Rage towards Luna, towards you and the members of the castle, but now, also towards each other as well. A monstrous brawl breaks out. So much anger and hatred spread throughout the crowd. A distant rumbling. A larger group is approaching the town square. Ponyville. Their imposing ranks have finally arrived. Charging full force straight at the Canterlot crackpot crowd, in which all hell is breaking loose. They flood the scene and restrain the bigots who still remain in the town square. Most have gone into their homes to hide. Cowards. You look towards the sky. From the directions of Cloudsdale, you can see a couple dozen Pegasi swoop down into the area. They must have seen the pillar of black smoke. All of the creatures of Equestria must have seen it. Near and far, all can see this cryptic message of civil unrest, insanity, a desperate cry for help, social injustice. Well, the Pegasi from Cloudsdale immediately help the ponies from Ponyville, as they are clearly trying to dilute and extinguish the uprising. Within a few minutes, the riot is over. The weather has grown cold. All of the rebels have been tied up and herded into the castle. It's about half the entire population of Canterlot. It takes all fucking day to get them all into the same place, the meeting room. Due to this, everyone who works at the castle gets to eat in the royal dining hall. A huge feast is prepared in everyone's hard work and victory. Everyone is talking to each other. The chandelier for the royal dining hall is placed above the table. Royal guards are sent in shifts to check on the new prisoners, 10 per shift. You sit at the table with everyone else, but you don't eat. Luna still wants to stick with eating your favorite food every day. You wait, you still want what's best for Luna. After dinner, all of the guests are returned to Ponyville and Cloudsdale. The guards are watching the prisoners. Luna gets up from her seat, walks down a hallway while gesturing you to follow. You follow. The 2 of you go up a few stairs, down a second hallway, and into a dimly lit cathedral ceiling room. You immediately recognize it as the room Luna teleported you into from before, but this time it smells of delicious cooked food. Luna levitates 2 immensely large plates of fish, slices of pizza, cookies, ice cream, and multiple gallons of chocolate milk from out of nowhere. But still, mostly fish. The other food is just for decoration. She then raises a curtain on the side of one wall, revealing a large flat-screen TV. It's powered by magic. I ain't gotta explain shit. As she does this, she softly speaks to you.
Thou mustn't hast worry in regards of being full, Anonymous. Magic shall vanquish the food from thy stomach after it has pleased thy taste buds.
You automatically understand what she meant. She'll use magic to make the food disappear from your stomach after you're done eating it so you can eat more.
Doth thou like it?
She asks. You nod excitedly. You both sit right next to each other at the foot of her bed.
As thou can see, we have changed the nature of our private meals to fit thy standards more comfortably,
Luna states.
We really hope to bond with thee finally.
You feel the shivers yet again, but you're smiling this time.
We wish to offer thee a multitude of fun-filled nights without issue of any kind, a gift for thee, in return for all thou hast done for us.
She turns on the TV. A reality show about ponies in Ponyville is on. What? The two of you sit on the bed, watching the show while eating. You swear it's like you're watching lost episodes of MLP, Friendship is Magic. Luna takes her forks and knives and completely dissects each part of her food, as though it were some kind of operation. She's using 2 forks and a knife on a single slice of pizza, skinning the cheese off and slicing it into sections. She then does the same to your food, and still feeds you herself. She is being too careful with her neatness this time. You don't say anything, you don't want to spoil the moment. A small improvement is still an improvement, at least until the big fish is brought out. You're about to feel more regret than you ever did in your entire life. Needless to say, the rest of the dinner goes great between you and Luna. You both casually watch TV while eating some seemingly endless food. You don't seem to mind her dicing up the food in the weird ways and feeding it to you. At least it's not forced this time. At the end of the meal, you sip what seems like gallons of chocolate milk through a straw. The milk disappears after it's been in your stomach for a few seconds, so you don't even feel full at any point. You can always drink more. It's easily the best thing that's ever happened to you. Luna leans up to you, holding the gallons of milk in front of you.
Art thou pleased with our friendly gift to thee?
Luna asks. You nod, occasionally taking breaths every 5 seconds or so. You are continuously sipping on chocolate milk for over 3 minutes. Fuck yeah, .jpg. The milk finally runs out, and you barely feel like you've eaten or drank anything at all. The episode on the TV ends, and Luna turns off the screen. You stand up to go to bed. There's nothing left to do now but sleep, and probably hang out with Luna more anyway. Nope. Luna levitates a fish behind her. It's even larger this time, and there's something different about this one.
We remember that thou said thy prefer thy gudgeon cooked. For thee to mount, Anonymous,
Luna says, almost ordering. Oh God, she heated it up so it's warm. This isn't what you asked for. Luna locks the door. No escape. Luna approaches you, fish beside her.
Make haste, Anon. Thy gudgeon grows cold.
You cannot allow this to happen. You are not about to lose your virginity to a fish. No, I can't do this. You make your stand. It's a shame. You and Luna have come so far, made so much progress. You two bonded so strangely, and now it comes to this. Your last stand.
We don't understand,
Luna stutters, confused. I don't want to do this.
But thou wanted to make it warm.
Luna's eye begins twitching.
To eat, not to fuck. But...
Oh shit.
No matter. Thou art awake, Anonymous. The fear of embarrassment cloudeth thy instincts. Thou needest assistance getting comfortable.
The room has a window. It's been open the whole time. Outside the window is a tree. You're able to see it in the darkness of the night because the leaves are pink. If it weren't for you spotting the tree, you'd have been royally fucked. You sprint for the window, and then you try to jump and land on the tree's leaves for cushioning, and then slide down the trunk like a pole. You jump and land in the tree. The tree makes a startled squeaking sound. What the fuck? Never mind. You slide down the yellow trunk like you planned and bolt into the darkness. You feel like you run faster in the dark. You continue to sprint through the night. You hear rapid breathing, your footfalls. You hear wing beats. You turn to see the trees in the darkness rush past you as you reeve around them. Wing beats have stopped, only to be picked up by hoof steps. They approach steadily. You don't stop. You don't chance a glance backwards. Princess Luna gallops after you. her features enraged and her eyes with a crazed look about them. Her horn glows as she levitates an unusually large fish next to her as she pursues you. "Anonymous!" she booms in the royal Canterlot voice. "Ye art going to hast intercourse with this gudgeon, whether thou likes it or not." "For the last time, Luna, I'm not fucking a goddamn fish." "How the hell did you get into this?" Luna has clearly snapped. There's no convincing her. She's simply reverted back to her ye old English dialect, seemingly forgetting everything she'd learned. She's gaining incredibly fast, being a lot more powerful during the night. Given that that's been proven before, she knows very well that you can't outrun her. You can see it in her expression. She now has a sadistically optimistic look in her face, a fixed gaze and a wide, tenacious grin piercing into your soul. You've read enough /MLP fanfics to know where this is going. "Thou canst escape us! Confess unto thy instincts thyself, or we shall assist by force," she blares once more, right behind you at this point. Her deafening voice has been waking up the ponies of the now hostile environment of Canterlot. You start to hear other voices in the distance. They sound agitated, but Luna seems to be ignoring them. She's way too determined to care. Stupidly enough, like a movie character, you trip over nothing. You lie helplessly on the ground in the darkness. Luna stands right on top of you, levitating the now cold fish above you. You could have at least still done this while it was warm. It's all over now. You know that the rioters of Canterlot are going to have their way with you if Luna doesn't first. You can hear them approaching, galloping close to you as you lie on your back now. If anything, they're your only hope at this point. You want to cry, but can't find the stamina to perform even an action as simple as that. Luna suddenly lets go of the fish and lets it simply land on top of you. You might have been saved. Might. "Standest back, barbarians! There shall be no interruption in this glorious moment of love," she yells. You can't see her around the giant fish, which is now only being used to momentarily pin you on your back as Luna fights off the now many Canterlotians. Luna's not controlling it, but it's still heavy. It's a fucking huge fish. "Let our neighbor go, you monster!" you hear one of them shout. You realize they can't see well in the dark and believe that Luna is trying to force this act upon one of their own. A fight ensues. You have no idea how you're going to squirm your way out of this. As you try to push the fish off of you, it's not very effective. Luna is winning her battle against the Canterlotians. It's only a matter of time. You need to act fast. You try pushing the fish off again. It's so fucking heavy. How did Luna even manage to get a hold of this thing? You squirm. The fish is slippery. You realize how stupid you are. It's a slippery fucking fish. You position yourself so it slides off of you. You're finally able to stand up. More villagers have arrived with torches, but this time they can see that you're a human. Luna is darker than you, so they notice you first. They charge after you. Of course, you run. What else are you supposed to do? Luna is now nowhere to be found, and the villagers are in high pursuit. You may have to get away and make it back through the castle. You travel through the darkness. Alone in the dark, scared and confused. You now reek of wet fish and are more easily tracked by the mob. You turn onto a street. You see a few more villagers. They charge. As you fall to your knees, ready to accept your fate, Luna sweeps out of the sky. She blares in her triumphant voice, making the very ground shake beneath your feet. "Leave this place, barbarians!" The crowd resists, unaware of what they're up against. You watch in silence as your princess nobly defends you, no matter what the cost. The angry ponies begin throwing rocks and other objects, desperately trying to do whatever they can to force Luna to yield and submit. It doesn't seem very effective at all. Why haven't you stepped in yet, you ask yourself. You imagine that you could at least make the authority of the castle's royal guards aware of the out-of-control villagers and that they would handle the situation. You shout into the winds for the guards. Meanwhile, Luna is bucking the villagers one by one many feet back into the darkness. "Thou cannot prevail. We shall endure thy trickery and hatred, and send thee back to the hole in the ground from which thou came," she booms, attracting even more attention. The villagers are so desperate, perilously and hysterically flinging anything they can get their hooves on and chucking them at you and Luna, shouting every single profanity they could muster up in their limited vocabulary. This madness needs to end. You run to the castle. You just book it in the direction you are most sure the castle is in. Block after block, you continue to sprint, then jog. You are now rendered out of breath. The barbaric army of hate and confusion hot on your tail. You hear flapping of wings behind you. You can immediately tell it's Luna. But can you trust her? Has the attacking crowd finally snapped her out of her demented desires to force you to fornicate with a fish? You remember your virginity is still on the line here. The barbarian crowd is indeed losing. Badly. You realize that you don't have a choice in the matter of whether or not Luna sweeps you off your feet or not. You're in the air before you know it. You're lifted dozens of feet above Canterlot. You hold on to Luna for dear life. The night air is immensely cold. You don't even care if Luna is still loopy. You're cold, tired, and exhausted. The warmth of Luna's back and neck, your only beacon of hope. You shut your eyes, tearing up a little bit. Luna is flying in the direction of the castle. She was unable to find where she left the fish, thank goodness. You begin to silently weep as you slowly realize that Luna cared more about you as a being than the things you did for her. She really saw you as something more than just a friend. She re-enters her room. You fall off her back, landing on the bed. Your first instinct is to fucking run. You leap up, but Luna blocks you and tackles you back down. She has you pinned to the bed. But there are no fish this time. "Anonymous," Luna orders, "please calm thyself. Please say thou art in good condition." You look up at Luna. There's tears in her eyes. The look she had 5 minutes ago is gone. You realize that you are now the only one freaking out. "We are so sorry," Luna begins to sob quietly. "We have no knowledge of what came over us." You lie there with a bewildered expression on your face. Luna embraces you and you embrace back. "Please forgive us, Anonymous. We hold no intentions of drawing thee away. If thou wishest leave, thy may." The crying had ceased. Luna can stop crying remarkably quickly. She's tough. And at that instant, Celestia comes barging through the door. "Luna, we need..." She pauses mid-sentence at the sight of you two on the bed, holding each other. Luna on top. This is not what it looks like. .jpg. "This isn't the time for that, you two." Celestia blushes with a worried look on her face. "The castle is being breached. It's urgent." Alright, thanks so much for watching, guys. It means so much to me, and thank you for all the likes and comments. It's really cool getting to see that. The final part, part 5, will be uploaded soon, and after that I'll have my next video out. Thanks again, guys, and I hope every pony has an awesome rest of their day.